Hey guys, Youngblood Fantasy 92, and this is basically a follow-up rant to my hentai video that I made many months ago when I was amateurish and when I didn't know the first thing about it. Now, I'm just gonna restate my position on it. My position is one of ambivalence. I mean, the reason that I got really mad at some of these people who like hentai is because, well, they take their obsessions too far and they declare it as priority over everything else in the world, and they just leave it at that, and they don't care about anyone else. What they do is they center on themselves and they don't pay attention to what humanity has to offer. But there are those people who actually understand hentai is, if you enjoy it in moderation, then they can balance it. They know that they don't need to obsess over it to feel good about themselves, but if they enjoy the drawings, if they enjoy the drawings and if they enjoy drawing it, then I have no problem with them, to be honest with you. I can't police them. I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to judge morality or what other people think. I'm not forcing people to go under a Nazi regime, but what I am talking about are people who take it extremely far and just ignore what everything else is in this world. By that I mean all they do is center on themselves and they don't think about anything else. All they do is they just think about their obsession and the drawings and over until it becomes a huge cycle. But like I said earlier, there are those who like hentai in moderation, and for that, that's fine. I don't really give a crap. And I'm not really repelled as much by the drawings as much as I'm repelled by the concepts behind the drawings. What do I mean by that? Well, the concepts are it's to satisfy the sex drives of teenagers or people who are older. But why is it that people take hentai so seriously? Why is it considered serious business when we all know that it embellishes two-dimensional characters that don't exist in real life? That is something I cannot grasp for the life of me. Why is it that people consider hentai serious business? It's the center of my universe, and if you don't like it, screw off. It's not serious. It's not a big deal. It's not a big part of life. It may give you a satisfaction now, but will it give you a satisfaction when you're older, when you have an occupation, when you're moving on to bigger things and bigger and better things in life? No, it can't be a crutch. It's not a crutch. It's just drawings. But the reason that I've been making a big deal out of it was because I was trying to generalize this point, and I have been overgeneralizing on many of the points in that video. But basically what I was doing is trying to capitalize on that central point, albeit very randomly and very, what's that word? Circuitously. I can't pronounce it, but you know what I mean. Like roundabout. And strangely enough, when I tried to voice my opinion, I've gotten a lot of backlash, and I actually expected that backlash, to be quite honest with you, because many people like hentai just because it's enjoyable and because they like to do it in moderation. I mean, sure, fapping to it, I'm not one for that. I don't support that, but if you do it in moderation, hell, go for it. Why should I give a crap about what you think when you have your own minds and your own sovereignty over what you do? But again, there are people who take it too far, and they take it so much that it's like an obsession to them, and it's so big an obsession, in fact, that it's just degenerative to the person's personality. I mean, if they focus so much on the sex and on the hentai and on the this and that, then they pretty much become a pervert. And not many people associate themselves with perverts unless they're perverts as well. So, I mean, why would, and besides, the furries in the community, the furry subculture themselves, actually despise the certain group of furries who are very perverted. They actually despise them, and that is a jarring fact. And the hentai pictures, for those of them who over-obsess over them, it only gives them more grounds to be perverted, which is why it's a concern for me. Now, I'm not trying to, take the whole world into consideration because I can't offer sympathy and offer advice for every single person on the planet, whether they may be furry or not. But what I am saying is some of the drawings may foster this obsession, and for those of you who take it too far, it's their responsibilities, whether it's theirs, whether they look at it or not. It's their responsibility over seeing the drawings, having fun with the drawings, even though they're two-dimensional things that don't really matter to me. Now, I've overemphasized in my video, I overemphasized the meaning of the words raping my childhood. I'll define it for you in my terms. When I was a kid, and when I watched all the 90s cartoons and all the Animaniacs and Freakazoid and Looney Tunes and all the other good stuff on Cartoon Network, Dexter's Lab, I always thought of them as innocent, closed characters, which means that they're not touched, they're always the same, they're innocent, they're just cartoon characters, and they're there for the laughs and the giggles and the everyone having fun. I never thought that the cartoons would be twisted in a way to satisfy sexual urges when it was children's cartoon characters. Now that's what kind of pissed me off, because they were children's cartoon characters and somehow they're being adapted for teenagers who have a very high sex drive and lack proper relationship skills. In effect, the characters themselves just seem so innocent, and they seem to be caught up in themselves, and they didn't seem extraneous to everything. But when I see these drawings, I always see them as extraneous to the franchise and always straying from the franchise in a sense. And when it strays from the franchise, it just seems out of place to me. It just seems that it's not there for any specific reason other than to satisfy a group of people and not pay attention to the premise of the cartoon, which is kind of a pisser offer for me. But and and then all of a sudden there's like all these fetishes that are a result from these cartoons. It seems to be that every single one has its own fetish. Rule 34 seems to like take its own form almost. I mean, with Pokemon, it's like, well, that's predictable. They have all these artificial penises and boobs. Oh my God, which is not possible in a Pokemon. But yeah, you get my drift. And Sonic the Hedgehog, same thing, adding genitals to where there's actually no such additions made or it can't be possible to do. But yeah, it's kind of like an inaccuracy, a blatant inaccuracy in the cartoon and the premise of the cartoon itself, which kind of pissed me off. But I've realized that some of these people do this in moderation, even though some of the drawings feature 3 gallons of seminal fluid, which to me is a blatant overexaggeration of real life and of the drawings, because there's no way that a person or an animal could hold that much seminal fluid. It's probably drawn by people who lack the fluid thereof. But that's what I also think that, people who just take it too far and use these as an obsession and use it as a tool to satisfy themselves and not pay attention to everyone else and take it so far that they become a central pervert, a big-headed pervert. When they become that, then they're detached from society and they're detached into their own little worlds where everything is perfect and everything is them, and not us. And to me, that's just a road that some people should not take. That basically was the major premises of my previous hentai video, just that didn't articulate it as well in those previous videos. In fact, I articulated it so crappy that I included Freudian theory, which I'm sure it was a major, major, major tangent to what I was talking about. I was just trying to embellish the fact that some furries and some hentai fans just act on their ids, act on what they want and want right away, and don't pay attention to the consequences of their actions. And some people just take it too far. I mean, they're only drawings. I mean, I don't get repelled by the drawings. I don't go, ew, drawing, because I'm 17, I'm old enough to understand, I'm mature enough to understand. But what I'm more repelled by are the fans who just are overzealous and think too much of themselves. And that's pretty much it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Youngblood Fantasy 92, and I'll see you next time.